What up, everybody? Welcome to TTESPN. I'm Vita Van Pelt here with Soy Sauce, y'all. Thank y'all for clicking. If you're ready to rock with us, it is time to finish off the very, very back end of the divisional talks. Today, we'll be doing the NFC West. Then we'll be finishing it off with the AFC West and the Super Bowl champ division. If you haven't already, you click, drop a like, comment. You ain't got a sub now, but if you like what you got, sub. I'm not gonna lie, just the support and the subs that we've got since this happened has kind of been shocking. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh snap, some people subbing up, yo, hey, so you know what I'm saying? We see y'all. It'll never be about the numbers for us, but when y'all here around, we want to acknowledge y'all. So we thank y'all, man. Again, this is the last two divisional breakdowns we will be doing. So the North, the East, and the South are all done. All comments are welcome as long as you're not talking about nobody's mama. All comments are welcome as we get ready to kick off the NFC West. But as always, to get started, Toy, how are you doing today, man?
So good, man. So good. Glad to be back. We had to take a smoke break for a little
No
bit,
smoke, right?
but
Holiday stuff coming up. You know what I'm saying? We try to give room for all of that. So, you know, good little break over the time, get ourselves together. We had a lot of stuff happen within TTE members, some marriages, some engagements, y'all. So a lot of that's happened. So to blessed when you see this, congrats on the union. Moonwalk, who rocks with us, getting engaged, man. So we're thinking, hey, there's a bunch of dudes around here just trying to love our wives and love sports, and that's all we trying to do, man.
yes, sir.
This the time we have been off has been an interesting time in sports to me.
Man,
Because this is the dead season of the NFL where there isn't much happening. So this is why we try to wait till now to do a lot of our divisional conference breakdowns, predictions, and previews. Because not many moves are going to be made. DeAndre Hopkins, from the team we will first talk about, is gone. He's still on the market. He's not with nobody. So this is like a time where I've been watching around the time, while we've been kind of just watching to see people's opinions and thoughts on what they got going on, and a lot of people seem to either be far on either side of the spectrum on something. Like I have to be completely anti for it, or I'm gonna completely be pro for it. Or a lot of people are like, there's a group of what's like the collective cool analysts in the moment,
mm,
to where like is everybody there's this group theory, and whatever you think about that person is just popular to hold that opinion till death do you part,
yep.
because it just rolls with the tide.
And
So that's
you're not allowed to come
yeah.
back and have a different opinion later either.
Nah, 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 nah. Nah, they'll die on that hill, and some of it isn't. Where some of it's like, yo, just be wrong. If you're gonna be wrong, just be wrong. If you're gonna be right, be right. It's gonna happen to us all, and move on. So that's
We've been wrong on here
yeah,
plenty of times, and you see
yeah.
us
We've been
on that
wrong.
the very next
Yeah,
time we get a chance to.
always yeah. Because at the end of the day, y'all, it's just a sport. It's just a sport, y'all. We're just talking about a sport, something that we love to do. You choose to be a consumer of it, so you ain't got to send your money, your bread, or your time to none of it, man. We just love to do this. This is our free outlet to just, talk about something that we love, man. One common thought that I want to talk about before we get started, because again, it just keeps getting thrown around, is the word mid. Like everybody just seems to love to throw the word mid on everything.
That's like
And I'm
that's the safe word for a lot of stuff.
it's the safest word to say to me, because at what positions in what areas do you actually have everybody that is elite? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not going to have a Bengals wide receiver room. Everybody's
Facts.
not good. Yeah, everybody's not going to have a Jets, secondary, cornerback duo. So
Facts.
like if you aren't in the elite, it's just easy to be like, yo, this is a battle of the mids, or a bunch of the mids. Like, yeah, everybody ain't elite, bro. Everybody
Right.
ain't a Eagles and 49ers O line. Everybody, like everybody's
Facts.
not that. Like there's only, because a lot of people like to, and one I had a conversation with a guy about DJ Moore when he got traded. And his thought was DJ Moore is elite. I said, no. I said, I've been arguing that DJ Moore has been top 20 his entire stint since his rookie year. He's been a top 20 wide receiver, but he has yet to give us elite production. And then he goes, well, and same thing I would say, quarterback play, coordinator, coaching. And all of that I would agree with. And then he goes on and says, well, he had a elite season. so he should be elite. Now, DJ Moore hasn't had no elite season.
I'm
He
about
hasn't
to
had no
say.
elite season. No. He's had good seasons. He hasn't had an elite one. And so I go, well, define elite. He said, if you could do it one time, you could do it again. I said, no. Elite is Justin Jefferson having top 3, top 4 numbers every
Facts.
year he's been in the league.
Mike Evans,
Elite,
since he came into the
yeah,
league.
Mike Evans consistently having 1,000-yard seasons is elite. Devontae Adams, when they have a down year and it's still a top 10 season, that's an elite
That's
player.
elite.
Yeah,
Facts.
that's elite player. But
Tyreek
so
Hill go from one
yeah,
quarterback to the next. Still
still
top three
yeah,
right now.
it was top 3. That's elite. There's visitors, and then there's those guys who get grouped up in the company of, oh no, this is an elite category of guys. Cooper Kupp, whose numbers is always outstanding. Devontae Adams, whose receivers numbers is always outstanding. Like we challenged CD Lamb. CD Lamb, you were good. Can
Showed
you do
up.
great? CD showed up, and he had an elite level production receiver. So now we're like, okay, bro, you really could be on that elite type of level. AJ Brown took an even greater extended leap, going from Tannehill to Jay. Like, okay, no, we seen these good numbers. Now you done jump to elite, and not only did your numbers do that, the impact shown on the field. So I'd like that word, like I said, it's just like a group common thought when people talk about mid, that just like it's like, okay, as soon as you say that, I kind of be like, I don't tune you off, but I'm like, okay, I kind of know where your
Yeah.
group of thought is
Those are the people.
along the
Those are
line.
the people that aren't willing to take a risk on any of those guys that are
No,
like
no, no.
that are past the threshold. You know how we all have a threshold player to where
Yeah,
if you perform below this player, then that's where you are. You're below the middle point. Or if you
yeah.
perform above them, that means you have an opportunity to be
So
great.
which is crazy. Just last offseason, I seen people ready to argue Kyler Murray into top 7, top 6, top 5 quarterbacks. A lot of people was on that train of thought of Kyler Murray talent level should be of this. I've always been Kyler Murray talent level should be of that because he can do everything. But I don't think coaching made him expound his game
Mhm.
from where he was at. So coach, just like it's almost to the point where Herbert. Herbert has all the talent in the world, top to bottom. But now you're kind of like, okay, is the whole back coaching? We know you had injury stuff.
Mhm.
Everybody's situation can't be perfect. Specifically for Kyler, I just thought it was coaching. I just thought, Cliff hanged on what he did too well, and they didn't try to adjust game plans and stuff accordingly.
Yep.
But yeah, like he said, it's just having those people seem to tend to lean on too much on the extreme of, oh, they had an elite season, so they're always going to have an elite season, or they had a down season, so they're always going to have a down season.
Yep.
And just it's so ready to hop on the extremes of it.
It's like now we
Like
need
there is,
now we need to expect this all the time.
yeah, yeah. So now it's like there is averages, y'all. There is context within that, and that's just kind of where you should be at.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just been where I've been at there. So let's get it started. Y'all will be in the NFC West. We always go worst to first according to division standings. In the Arizona Cardinals finished last. New head coach John Gannon. Last year's record was like 4-13. Kyler Murray ended the year injured, and for the foreseeable future, we don't know how long he's going to be out either. John Gannon definitely. I watched a couple of his interviews. I was a little. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying I'm on the fence about him, but there's a part of me that feels like he feels fake. Listening to his interview, he feels fake.
So
Yeah,
knowing
he
that we was
feels
gonna
fake.
do the NFC West, that was one thing that I try to go do is I go watch coaches' interviews and I go see how they present themselves, right? And right now the bar is like Dan Campbell, Nick Sirianni, Andy Reid, those guys, right? That's
Yeah,
like you want your coach to be up to Mike McDaniels. You want them to present themselves like that, especially when we don't know nothing about you.
yeah.
And like the way the only thing that comes to mind is he's a company man.
Yeah,
He's gonna say yes to everything that the upper management says, and he gonna be like, well, if this works, it works. If it don't, I don't believe that he's gonna adjust. And again, this is all just the hypothetical guess based on what we see in interviews.
yeah.
I don't know that he's going to evolve and be able to make those adjustments. We'll see. We'll see. But I don't know. He seemed very disingenuous.
Yeah. And he made like some comments about like, oh well, like the Philly media is a media of its own, so you cannot expect Philly media to be Arizona media. But he made some comments about things that I felt were like he just seemed like he was so ready to get out at draft day they had a tampering issue. I
Mm-hmm.
guess that kept Vic Fangio from actually going to be the Philly because how they handled that entire situation over there. So I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. You said it the kind of the perfect way. I do think he's kind of like a company man hire. He's a guy who just wanted to get out of Philly, would take the Arizona job. Arizona was kind of like, okay, cool, we'll hire you. We already know we're not in a win now situation next year. We'll keep you around while we try to figure some stuff out. And it's a swing at the fence. If you work out, you work out. If you don't, if you don't. Defensively, yeah, he put together a hell of a defense, calling everything. I'm not gonna penalize you like most would for one
One
way
game.
you got exposed. Yeah, yeah, for one game you got exposed in the Super Bowl off of one specific situation in the red
Yeah.
zone that they just found and they
Against an
messed up.
amazing
Yeah,
offensive
yeah,
coordinator,
yeah,
by the
yes.
way.
Yeah. So
Right? Like,
I'm not gonna. I don't penalize you for that. But what I am gonna say is that I do think the Arizona defense has put in places some players that I think could work if that's the way he likes to run and if that's what he wants to do. You got Buda Baker over there. I really like Arizona's draft class. I really like Arizona's draft class. Y'all remember we was at the draft, so all hell broke loose when we saw Arizona was 3 and Houston came back up to 3.
yep.
So everybody was on their phones trying to figure out what the hell happened, what was going on. Nobody could get signal to figure out. We were like, why is Houston back on the board at 3? So that's horrible. So I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for any other draft experience, but that draft experience, seeing that trade happen and not knowing what was moved was the case. But they also clearly did have their eye on Paris Johnson Jr. because they traded back up, got in front of Chicago to get him. So they came back up to 6. So next year they have draft capital. They'll have Houston's first, I believe. This draft class to me is a draft class that says um, a lot of what I think this organization thinks of both Kyler Murray and Gannon. It was word on the street that Kyler Murray wanted Paris Johnson Jr. and that he also wanted like Creed Humphrey and Jones last year, and they didn't take him. So the fact that they listened to Kyler makes me feel like this move was to ensure O line protection for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what type of offense they're going to run with the new coordinator and all that. I know Cliff had a big hand in that. But pickups like BJ Ojolari and Williams, man, I like them. I like Wilson out of Stanford. I think he could be find a role with Kyler. I said I still think Kyler's a top tier quarterback. And I really do like what this draft class is because I feel like you do have players in place who are enough of a floor setter that you should have at least a landscape this year. I'm not asking you to win or lose games, but you got enough of a landscape with the young guys in places and peace to set a foundation for what we can expect going into the next NFL season.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know exact. I mean, depth chart shows that Johnson's going to be a guard. If that's okay, cool, take him. Sure up the O line, do whatever you got. But BJ Ojolari was a dude who I had real high hopes on. I thought he was going to be more of a first rounder. And Williams was a guy who I had eyes on too. So, like, I really like what this draft class could be. And I feel like they drafted to the fact of everybody next year is going to pull the Chicago Justin Fields trade if Arizona has a high thing, and I don't think they're going to do that with Kyler. I think this draft shows that they're going to be committed to Kyler no matter what, and if they have a bad year, then that pick will be for sale.
Yeah. I think seeing them being so comfortable releasing DeAndre Hopkins really said a lot too, especially with them picking Garrett Williams out of not Garrett Williams, Michael Wilson out of Stanford, 6'2", big
Yeah,
body.
yeah,
I liked him at Stanford. He was kind of I don't want to say he was their go-to, but like when you have single coverage on the outside, that's kind of who you look to.
yeah,
I like Garrett Williams. Kind of like what you said, man. They set themselves up for the next 3 to 5 years. Maybe not even that. Maybe like 2 to 4 years. We obviously know
yeah,
that Kyler's going to be, recovering this year. We'll see what we get from him. Who knows when? It might be the start of the season. You never know. It might be
yeah,
a couple of months in, but BJ Ojolari falling into the second round to them was a steal for sure. That was almost a no-brainer when he was there in the second round. First round talent for sure. And then I think there was a linebacker that they picked up out of Auburn.
yeah,
Owen.
yeah. I know you talk about Owen. Yeah,
Owen. Kaiser White was somebody they picked up in off season from the Eagles. I think he's gonna be a good addition. It's gonna be interesting to see him being that middle linebacker and then kind of being the quarterback over there next to Buda Baker.
Yeah.
But you think Buda stays there the whole year?
That's the thing. That's the thing is I don't think there's no reason for him not to stay if enough of an idea is given to him of, hey, this year's going to be a little struggle. Now, if they move off of Buddha, like you said, his safety, I think they could get a high price for him this
Yeah,
year. But I also don't think like you would want to move off of him because he is a very big part to me of the heart and soul of that defense. So I would, I don't think they're gonna move him. If I had to put my money on it, I don't think they would move him. But I also think that there is a price to get him out of there. I really do. I think there's a price to get him out of there, and I do think it will be kind of costly to get him because there's going to be a contending team willing to send that couple picks to get him away from there. So I do think that's possible. Um, I also look at players who I said everything to me will revolve around how fast Kyler comes in. I'm going to guess and bet that he doesn't play the first 6 games. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there that I don't think he's gonna play the first 6 games at all. I do expect this defense with Gannon and some of the people around Collins, Ojolari, Simmons, Buddha. Like you don't got a bare slate, bro. You
all
don't
right.
got a bare slate. You got pieces and you got capital and potentially cap next year to make some moves and to
Yeah,
be like, hey, they could put themselves. I said it when it happened. They could be the Bears of next year, who has a high draft pick, what you would have as your franchise quarterback and pieces to move, and you could really tool this team up.
yeah,
So I'm like, I would definitely put my money on them to be a top 3 pick this year because I really don't expect Kyler to play the first 6 games at least. I just think they're going to keep him out. I don't think there's no reason to rush him back. I think you have free reign to let him get healthy and to honestly just get your O line and your defense together. And everybody's going to put it together when they got a top pick. It's can Arizona be a Marvin Harrison Jr. team? And then
I
you're
was
like,
just
okay,
about to say that, bro. I was just about.
that's what it's going to look
It's
like.
crazy that Kyler signed his contract the way he did, and they still have draft capital. They still have cap
Yeah.
room. They still have the room that they have to continue to build around a quarterback. And if they're a top three
This
pick
is
next year, man, I don't see them not taking Marvin Harrison Jr. as long
yeah,
as
no,
he's
no,
healthy
no, no, no.
throughout the year.
They're gonna take him. He's gonna be a top 3 pick, which is gonna be crazy. Not gonna be crazy, but he's gonna be a top 3 pick, and there's gonna be a team in the top 3 who doesn't need a quarterback who's gonna be gifted him
Mm-hmm.
because we all know pretty much Caleb's locked for one, and then it's kind of the move on what's gonna happen with Drake May or whoever will be the next dude. But then Marvin could go second, so I don't know exactly like in the best way to kind of say this is the Cardinals could be what would be the Spurs and just be like, yo, take the bad year, put yourself in a position to get this generational type of dude. You already have a really good quarterback, and you got a head coach who's had a good defense. Like, give that time and they can see it. Like this year, I think they should just, if you want to take Tank into it, you should take Tank into it. You should blow every game and put yourself in a position because the rest of the division, 2 teams eventually have to break up here, and you could really have a window here in a year or two to take over the division. So that's kind of my thoughts on where they're at. I love the draft picks. Um, I said last year at this time, I remember everybody being so high on Kyler. Now everybody's so low on Kyler. I still think Kyler's a top 10 quarterback. And like you said, I think John Gannon's a company man. I don't think he seems disingenuous, fake, the way he goes about things. But even at that point, you put together a hell of a defense. So I'll be glad to see what you can do with this defense and what y'all decide to do, like you said, with Buda Baker throughout the course of the year, what happens with him, and just seeing how this draft class kind of progresses throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, I don't. Again, I think they're gonna be. You said it. They're gonna probably be a top three, top five at absolute worst pick in the
Yeah.
draft, but we'll see, man.
All right. Three key players. 3 key players for me. Collins, Xavier Collins, off rip. Paris Johnson, off rip. Solidify the O line, come in and be better. Collins, step up. Find yourself somebody. No, try to put no pressure on BJ Ojolari, even though I think I got a lot of love for the potential that I seen you. But Collins, and I know I'm saying that, and then I'm putting pressure on Paris Johnson. You were drafted high. They traded back up to get you. I thought you were the best lineman in this year's draft. So come in and make an instant impact, man. Improve the O line. And Rondell Moore,
Mm.
Rose Toolsy, you know what I'm saying? And I would hope that there is, something there to be held on to going into the next year. Because I do think Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, is a good receiver, but let's see how you can be used throughout the course of the year, and if it's going to be better than 41 catches and 414 yards without Kyler Murray. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
depending on how much
With
he
Colt
plays. But
McCoy.
let's see. Yeah, let's see if there's something better there for you. So those are my three key players: Rondell, Zaven Collins, and Paris Johnson Jr. No
Um,
stress on Paris Johnson being all pro. I just want you to help, help the O line, help the O line.
get your experience.
Yeah, get your
I'm right with
experience.
you, man. I'm right with you. I think the only one difference is I'm not even gonna make it a difference. I'm just gonna add on to it is Hollywood Brown. They brought him over there to be the number two right there to kind of change things up to be the game changer next to Hopkins. He's basically been doing what he's doing in what he did in Baltimore here. Right, he came over here for a much more expanded role. He came over here because he wants to catch the rock. He wants to be the playmaker. I think what I'm seeing from him, what I seen from him last year is you can't get open on one-on-ones. You might be fast as hell and you can run those 9 balls like crazy, but
Yeah.
your route tree ain't that great, big dog. And
Yep.
this coming from a lineman, saying what I'm saying, but just from what I see from the couch, I'm not seeing any separation. I'm not seeing him being able to be that go-to guy. So I need to see something from him this year, especially with D-Hop not being in there.
Yep.
They have him slated as the number one wide receiver over there. We'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
if it turns out that way
And you
within the
got to think
first
about
three to
him,
five
man. He's the
games.
one who kind of made a fit to get out of Baltimore, and now look where Baltimore's going offensively.
Yeah.
And so,
It's like, bro, you're having the same exact production here that you did in Baltimore.
yeah. So, I know sometimes things get bleak, brother, but you got to hold on.
Grass ain't always greener, big dog.
Grass ain't always greener, bro. All right, three key players. So let's get into the schedule prediction for the Arizona Cardinals, man, and see what do we expect from them. They have a very late bye week because I don't even see it here. Damn, week
Bro,
14.
saying, yep.
All right, week one at Washington. Let's start it off like this, since we think that they are uh top 5 pick next year.
Let's look for the wins.
Just look for the wins. Um, ugh, okay.
Damn. Maybe Houston? Because I think by then Kyler will be back.
Yeah, I look at it. So pretty much I started at week 8 because I was like, let me. I think Kyler will probably come back week 8. Probably just for the fans' sake, give them some hope, some life. Atlanta, Houston. Atlanta more 70-30 to Atlanta. Houston, honestly, like 60-40 still. Houston. Um, yeah, I think this is, but I'll give them 3 wins generously, and I
Wow.
don't and I don't know where that's gonna come from.
I was
But
about to ask. I was like, where's the third? Maybe
yeah,
week 18 because Seattle ain't going to need it.
yeah, maybe week 18. Um, again, I just it wouldn't shock me either because we was on Washington. Uh, Colt McCoy ain't no punk, so maybe there's proper preparation there with Washington, even though I still pick Washington. Um, I don't know. I just kind of want to say 3 wins, and I really couldn't pin, Dallas, Wash, Frisco, Wash. There's a 3, week 3 through 5, all L's.
Man.
Uh,
Even
easy.
even
We
even going
really
into
couldn't.
week 6 and
As a matter
7
of fact, yeah,
on the
week 3
road.
through 9, yeah, week 3 through 9 is just like all L's. At this point.
Yeah. Yeah. We're looking at a week 9 Deshaun Watson who's had a chance to just get his feet, have a full off season with the team. Damn.
Okay, so this is like a very, very bad team then. Because we're too high on John Gannon and we don't really know when Kyler's coming back. So I think the encouragement for Cardinals fans going into this should be when Kyler comes back and how he looks when he comes back. I don't think the play is gonna go down. I still think bro is like that in his code. But when they bring him back, to me is gonna show. So let me put it like this: there is a reality too. Like maybe they're not tied to Kyler. Maybe they do bring him back week 8 and let him sling it all over the place, and then just move off of him.
Yeah.
Like there could be that reality. I don't believe that reality. I think the moves they made, they are committed to Kyler throughout the course of his contract he just signed. But there is a reality too that he could come back at week 8, week 9. Oh, matter of fact, week 10, first week against Atlanta. Come back week 10, run it up. Maybe with Kyler, we steal some of these games because technically against Atlanta, you would have the better quarterback. Houston, you would have the better quarterback. Pittsburgh, you would have the better quarterback. I still like Kyler over Justin Fields in this current moment.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Seattle.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah. So let's Cardinals fans bear with us if you're watching. In a hypothetical, in this hypothetical, I'm saying Kyler comes back week 10. So you're with me from weeks 3 through 9 is an absolute wash.
Yeah.
Why bring Kyler back in the middle of that mess? If you wanted to sell him, where would you start your selling point?
Week 10, like you said.
Week 10. If I wanted to be like,
Week
you know
10
what?
at home.
Caleb's killing it. Caleb's a Heisman. We got extra draft picks. We got a little bit of bread and we got a Buda Baker that could be moved. If you are committed to the Caleb train, week 10 is when I bring Kyler back and tell him to put on a show.
Yep. Do not run the ball, not never. You throw the ball 50 plus times.
Run it up. 4 touchdowns a game. We don't care. 4 touchdowns a game. And that's where you start the selling point. From week 10 on, he's really the better quarterback in how many matchups? Desmond Ridder,
1, 2, 3,
Jay Stroud, Kenny
4.
Pickett, Justin Fields.
4 of the last few games. Atlanta, Houston, Pittsburgh, Chicago. I might even put him over San Francisco's quarterbacks, all of San Francisco's quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But their defense is, I
don't want him playing that defense.
Yeah, facts.
Even though it's outside of a bye week, which
at
you
home.
got time to prep at home, so you should have some type of advantage.
He typically plays good against San Francisco, which is weird.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, he shows up and he balls. Like it's not like he doesn't play and you don't see that he's not passionate about the game. It's the other stuff that I like kind of temper on. But if there was a point that I said, hey, okay, we want to be on the Caleb train, we're in a position to just take Caleb if we wanted him, where would I start my selling point? It'll be week 10.
Yeah.
I'll be like, no, Kyler, come back week 10, get the fans hype, get the media hype, let them do all the stuff that they wanted to do, that they wanted to see, come show them that you're still this guy. And then maybe we can find offers and options for you.
Yep. And if Washington is as bad as we think they're going to be, I don't think, they're going to be that bad. But
I've been trying to tell you, I've been trying to get Eric Bieniemy to Arizona to coach Kyler. I love to see Eric. Yeah, I mean, you sent Kyler to Washington. I've been trying to get Eric B to Kyler Murray for 2 years now.
That's fast.
So I'm sick the fact that it hasn't happened.
You might even see Kyler to Washington.
You could see that. Because they're like we talked about them. They're a good roster, ready to go. Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson, that whole team.
That defense.
What Kyler Murray added to it, like that could be crazy, bro. And we said Eric B might be head coach at that time because Ron might be out the door.
Ron gonna be gone. Eric B gonna be looking for his coach.
Then Chase Young and picks for Kyler to Washington.
Easy.
John Gannon gets another DN that he might like.
Yep.
And Kyler come to, you know what I'm saying? Again, this is hypothetical, y'all. Just throwing something out there.
And if y'all are really 3-14, you got the number 1 pick anyways. You can go get Caleb.
Number 1 pick. You can go get Caleb if you want him. Now, I think the moves that were made were to keep Kyler and to sell the pick. I think you can try to finesse the board. And I think the front office keeping Kyler and firing Cliff, obviously after you paid him, shows that you're more committed to Kyler than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like you said, but if you're sitting right there and Caleb's right there to be had and you wanted to sell Kyler, you got 9 weeks through the year, and you were like, it's time to sell them. You don't bring them back till week 10.
Yeah. Plus, it seems like the NFL they'll be behind the teams will be behind players before they be behind the coach, depending on
Yeah,
especially now. Like, right, I could probably count on two hands like the number of coaches that are unfireable right now.
yeah.
Right,
No, and
everyone else, if you got a franchise quarterback, you're gonna put your money behind the
yeah,
quarterback before you do
I'm
it
gonna
behind the
put money.
coach.
They're trying to get Brandon Staley away from Herbert. They're
Yep.
like,
They went and got Kellen Moore, and they were like, "Look,
yeah,
Staley, you ain't calling no more
yeah.
plays, bro."
No, it's a wrap. So it's like, I'll make my stand here. I do think Kyler, the moves were made to keep Kyler, but again, there is the reality that if they are in that position, it could happen. And if, as an organization, I'm there and I say, hey, you know what? I think this Kyler kid, you know my philosophy. If you think the person you're drafting is going to be better, just take him.
Yeah,
Just take him and figure it out. Always take BPA. I wouldn't bring Kyler back till week 10. Even if he was healthy week 4, you're not playing till week 10.
I don't need you out here stealing some games
No, no, no,
potentially,
no, no. Not even that. I just
and
don't
or
want to risk no
dropping,
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
dropping your
I don't
stock,
want to
your trade stock if we need to.
yeah. I don't want to risk no more injury and none. I want you to play games where I know we can really be on paper the better team, prepared the better team, and then we'll go in there and we'll run it up. So
So we got the Cardinals 3-14, the end of the
that's just
season.
their ceiling. That's just their ceiling. That's just their ceiling this year, which is crazy because you got to remember, outside of last year's injury, this team was almost 10-0
Mm-hmm.
before they lost to Green Bay, which is like how fast the NFL changes.
That damn
This
running
team,
back room was killing it.
yeah. I told you, like I always felt that holdback was Cliff. I felt like he wasn't the dude that was going to take them over the top. So they got off of that. I don't think John Gannon doesn't give me the vibes of that same dude either, though. But we'll see how you go forward. Any final thoughts on the Arizona Cardinals?
Nope, nope,
All
nope, nope.
right. Time to move on down the road to Los Angeles, to Slicker Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams, Super Bowl champions 2 years ago.
It's crazy.
Uh,
We're 2 years removed from them winning the Super Bowl.
yeah. 2 years removed from them. That's when we had Cream City Kickback in Vegas. We kicked it, had a great time. This team, they did what I felt like they should have did, was they saw their main players get injured early and just called it a day.
Yeah,
And just no. Look, you made them. So people have talked about the Los Angeles Rams trade, and the question was posted, and I talked about it before on TikTok, and we talked about it too, where they said who won the Rams Lions trade? Was it the Lions who won, or was it the Rams who won? And I said, as of this current moment, the Rams won the trade.
yep.
Even though I think both teams still won theoretically, the Rams made the move because they needed a guy to win the Super Bowl. They got the guy
They
to win the
got
Super
that.
Bowl.
They got the
So
Super
yeah,
Bowl.
yeah. So their job is done. Their job is done. They have 7 years of grace from their fan base. You made the one move you needed to make, and you won. On Detroit's end, it was, we wanted to create us a new window, which now people are saying that they're walking into, because they're like the fourth best favorites to win the division. I mean, the conference, to win the conference. So it's like,
Crazy, crazy to
you
me.
you made the move so you can have a future. You got it. They made a move so they could win. They got it. So I do think it's a win-win. I do think the Rams looked at the team after they won the Super Bowl and saw how hurt they got and said, you know what, y'all? Call it a day. Uh, Whitworth was a tackle, right? Whitworth retired. That clearly
Mm-hmm.
showed. No Boom stepping in, Von Miller being gone. But the whole entire main piece to the Rams pie was upgrading at quarterback, Cooper Kupp and Donald. And at the time, Jalen Ramsey. Jalen
Jalen
Ramsey is
Ramsey,
gone.
yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey is gone. Cool. Jalen's a dog. He's over to Miami. One of the reasons why I'm more heavy on Miami now. But you still have the main four pieces of the pie. Slicker Sean, Matt, Cooper, and Aaron. And as long as those three are playing and two of them are playing at an all-pro level, it's still very difficult to count out the team, even though the rest of the roster doesn't show it too much. I still think with the mastermind that McVay is, the player that Stafford is, Cup and Donald, these are top tier players and coaches. like I think the way people are discrediting this team is kind of wild to me. So, what
Yeah,
are your thoughts
they just
on
had they
the
had
Rams and
such
offense?
a bad year last year because of injuries that I think people are forgetting who they were just a year ago, minus these
Yeah,
injuries, right? Like
yeah,
I know there was the big notable signing of them picking up Bobby Wagner to add to that defense. Don't get me wrong, I think if this team was healthy last year, we I'm not saying we'd have a Super Bowl champ back to back. We'd
no,
be having a whole different conversation. Whole
no,
different conversation. Granted, they didn't have a first round pick. It wasn't theirs. Cool. But I don't think that stopped them, especially McVay, from saying, yo, we ain't got much of a chance, y'all. Let's do with what
yeah,
we can. Brought in,
yeah.
Baker Mayfield to end the season. And, they had a respectable finish to the season. And I think it's gonna come back to show the brilliance that is Sean McVay.
So I like the rookie pickups Avila, Young, and
Guard, yeah.
cornerback Hodgins Tomlinson.
We ain't got
I
Puka
like
Nakua
yeah.
from BYU. I don't think he's gonna
They
get a lot
they
of
took
burn,
a
but
they took a big shot at the draft by just picking up a lot of people, filling
yeah.
roster spots. Yeah,
Stetson
filling roster
Stetson
spots.
Bennett.
Yeah, filling roster spots, and let's see if we can grow. You said we got the main pieces to the pie. The rest of y'all fit in, get in where you fit in. Um, and I think that's kind of where they're going to be at this year. There's again, I don't think this team should be as discredited as they are because you got everybody. The main pieces are coming back to start the year 100% healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't see the world where maybe they just aren't deep enough and aren't good enough. But you would not shock me if they came back and they was like, "Yo, this team is kind of right back on pace for where they left off at." Jalen Ramsey's gonna hurt, obviously. You can't replace him in the secondary. Wagner, I thought he was better than what people wanted to see him over there do. But again, just the circumstances of what happened with that team, I felt like just made everything worse.
Yeah, that defense. That
Um,
defense was beat
yeah,
up. Offense was beat up. Defense was always on the field. It's just
this team was limping all year to
perfect,
me.
perfect
Yeah,
storm
yeah,
on the other
yeah,
side of things in the negative, right? Like it's just the
yeah,
perfect storm for them.
yeah. So, what are your expectations? We're 2 years removed from the Super Bowl. You got a Super Bowl winner. You got a Sean McVay as a head coach. Matthew Stafford, who is still a top 10 quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Cup, still top 10 wide receiver. Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald. These are the main pieces to the Los Angeles Rams keys to success. You lose Thomas Bryant, who was your assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, who went to Carolina. Last year, you lost Kevin O'Connell, who went over to Minnesota. You do have some of the most weirdest cast outside of these guys. Yeah, you got Van Jefferson, but I think we all know who Van Jefferson is. You picked up Demarcus Robinson, but ain't nobody like CJ Henderson's tripping off Demarcus Robinson because Demarcus Robinson killed him in Baltimore. But Tutu Atwell, another Tuesday guy who we'll see work through there. What will the O line look like? We've seen Matt Stafford play with bad O lines before, but can Note Boom, the additions of Avila and this O line, set a little bit of stability for what they got going on? Defensively, it really is just like Aaron's gonna be triple teamed, y'all.
Yeah,
Somebody has to do something beyond that, right? It's almost like we are trying to put y'all in the best position. But like I would expect that this will be Raheem's last year with the Rams. I think he's gonna get it to
oh
finally
yeah,
move out. Yeah,
he'll
finally
get a
move out
job
of
for
here after
show
that.
somewhere.
And it wouldn't shock me either if after this year, this was the last shot that they gave themselves too. That if Aaron and Matt and Cooper all didn't decide to move on after this year too.
Yeah,
Like
they'll probably blow it up if this year doesn't go. They have another 5-12 year. We're not going
yeah,
to see a
yeah,
lot of these guys. I think Aaron Donald's going to be done. He might call it a career. If not, he
yeah.
might go somewhere else. But he don't really need to play anywhere else, and I don't think he's hungry like that
No, no,
anymore.
no, 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 no. Once he won, he was pretty much done.
Yeah.
But like
Um.
he said he would only play if he doesn't feel he can't play at that top tier level. So
I don't know, man.
I
That O line to me has a lot to prove this season, right? Whitworth was a glaring loss last year with him retiring and no boom stepping in, and they picked up Avila this year through the draft. I, I I still need to see something from this team, right? I think last year, I don't want to say they got off they got off with some mobile quarterbacks, some semi-mobile quarterbacks, to where you ain't got a Tom Brady standing back there with his food. It's just gonna fall when he gets pressure. Luckily enough, you had some quarterbacks that were able to run around the pocket a little bit, make a couple of moves here and there, but getting Cooper Kupp back, Matthew Stafford back, Cam Akers, I think is going to be one of the big keys next year. Spoiler alert for when we do keep players, but I think Cam Akers is going to make an impact next year. Van Jefferson, I think we're going to see him have a much better year. He's not going to be the number one guy, but I think he thrives at number two.
Yeah, I think he's cool there too.
Right. Ben Skowronek, I think, is another guy who he plays a hell of a game out the slot, man. We're gonna see a lot of Tyler Higbee this year. Matthew Stafford loves his tight ends when he can get them. Like you said with the defense, man, the defense just is what it is, right? When I look at this personnel, there's nothing that stands out outside of Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's gonna be that other guy? We're not looking for a Von Miller type guy,
but
we're looking for another guy.
So when it comes to key players, I'll just keep it simple, very simple. It's just training staff. Let's just hope that the main guys can stay healthy. Because I think talking with you now, it really helped me to figure out what I think of the Rams season and what I project it to be. And I think they're just going to play spoiler. I think they're going to mess up a lot of people's schedules.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't consider them contenders either.
It's almost a stretch to call them that.
No. I think in the NFC, they've been saying it, and I think it's true. I think there is right now in the NFC only two true contenders, and I think that's the Eagles and the 49ers. I think those are the only two teams in the NFC who deserve contender title tier placement. I think there's a lot of other teams underneath that who should be playoff teams, but who people also wouldn't be shocked if they weren't a playoff team either.
Yeah.
And I think that's the clear gap we see. So you wouldn't shock me if the Rams ran it back with a 5-win season. But it wouldn't shock me either if these dudes balled out like they did Super Bowl year, minus Jalen Ramsey, and then this is a 10-11 win team. Like it wouldn't is the Rams sweeping the Cardinals?
Yeah.
That's 2. McVay finds a way against Seattle and he usually gets punked by Shanahan.
Every time against Seattle, he finds a way. Shanahan comes in and sweeps him.
So okay, so that's 3. So like for me, the key players is training staff because we got to keep our guys healthy. Like they have to keep this team healthy. And I think big emphasis on that is O-line. I think they leaned into the O-line or trying to develop them and get them ready to go. That's why I think they was cool with moving off of Ramsey. Let's see what Tutu Atwell looks like this year.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give your key players before we get into the schedule, and then maybe we can see if kind of where I'm at with this team fleshes out.
That O-line. The O-line and Cam Akers. I'm gonna keep it extremely simple. The O-line can get it together, protect Matthew Stafford the way he needs to, run the ball the way they need to. Cam Akers is gonna be a part of that. I'm gonna lump him right in with the O-line. If they can run the ball like they need to, everything else is just gonna fall into place. You're gonna control time of possession and keep your defense fresh. You're gonna get guys, you're gonna get that play action working with Matthew Stafford. You're gonna allow Cooper Kupp to have one-on-one matchups, which is gonna be crazy to see. But yeah, the O-line and then Cam Akers. That's it.
All right. So I do got an eye on Hodge Tomlinson and Byron Young. They're 2 rookies they picked up. You really their first 3 rookies left guard too. Just seeing how they're implemented into this. I said, but it really none of this matters to me if Stafford, Kupp, Donald, and McVay aren't at that top tier level like we know they can be. But let's look at their schedule, man. Like I said, I really think they could play spoiler. So you got week 1 at Atlanta, week 10 at Seattle. With a week 10 bye week. Yeah, with a week 10 bye week. So what do they look like up to the bye week to you? At Seattle,
1-3. Oh, 1-3 the first 4 games. 2.
At Seattle wouldn't shock me either, though.
3-6, maybe.
1, 2, 3, 4. I could see them 4 wins.
You got Green Bay as 1.
Seattle at Seattle week 1. I could lean into them potentially still in that. Wouldn't be shocked. I would pick Seattle. that's kind of more like 60-40. I think Kyle's probably gonna kill them. Cincinnati, that's a L. Colts, I give them a dub. Philly L. Arizona dub. Pittsburgh, I actually like how they could potentially match up with Pittsburgh, so I gave them a dub on Pittsburgh, and that was kind of it there. But again, we don't know what Jordan Love could look like, so I gave him more of a 50-50 against Green Bay than what it could be. So I'm saying again, I wouldn't be shocked if it's 2, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's 4. That's what
4.
I'm saying. This team, I think this team could play spoiler.
We'll call them 4 and 5 into the bye week.
All right, let's say they're 4 and 5 into the bye week. Outside the bye, see, so I'm giving them the split with the Seattle. I'm giving them the split with Arizona, and I'm giving them swept by the 49ers.
Yeah. I mean, 8 games maybe.
So at that point, if they split there, so that's 5. Cleveland, Baltimore, Washington. I give them a Washington toss-up, a New Orleans toss-up, and a New York toss-up.
8. Yeah. So 8 is probably their ceiling.
So I will give them an 8 ceiling, a 5 floor again.
Which, I mean, after the year they had last year, 8 I think is a win. You probably ain't gonna hear that. You probably ain't gonna hear them say that out loud. But to get 8 games and play spoiler to some of those teams that they beat,
Yeah.
New
So
York, a New Orleans, teams like that, a Green Bay potentially, depending on what Jordan Love looks like.
well, and so there's no way in your mind that the Rams is a 10-win team.
Nah,
Is there a 10-win team in the Rams?
not the way their defense is looking. I think the offense can only do so much.
I can't give them 10. I like 5 floor, 8 ceiling. I'm struggling to give them 10 because to give them 10 would mean I think at one point they would have to split with Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm giving them a split with Seattle, even though I do think Seattle's better.
Yeah, then they'd have to win one of those games on the road. Like you got Baltimore, you got Dallas, you got Frisco.
Cleveland,
I just don't think they're gonna win those games.
Yeah, Cleveland. It said Dallas, Green Bay, Cleveland are like 3 games that I'm like, okay, so in Dallas, you have the Rams have the better quarterback and coach, right?
In Dallas?
Against Dallas.
Yeah.
Against Green Bay, you have the better quarterback and coach.
Yeah.
Against Cleveland, you have the better quarterback and coach.
Yeah.
See, those are like, I feel like they'll steal one of those 3. I can't pinpoint it if I wanted to pick. I can't pinpoint it. But I feel like those are one of the 3 that I can see them playing spoiler to.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I'm more comfortable saying that I think they're 5-win floor, 8-win ceiling.
Cool.
And in order to get 10, they would have to split with Frisco and steal one of those 3.
And they
with
won't.
Dallas or Cleveland. So all right. So I think if you're a 5-8 win team and you're not a playoff team, then I think you do blow it up and just get the hell up out the door. So
does that mean McVay is going too?
I think he's just gonna retire. I don't think McVay's trying to chill with nobody else. I think he'll just go to TV, kick it, do his little thing, and be done.
Cool.
I don't think McVay's coaching for no. He gives me the love LA vibes, kicking it over there.
She damn near retired after the Super Bowl with Aaron Donald.
Yeah. When they got pulled over there, they got pulled to do and move however they want to move. So I don't see no reality where these dudes blow like any of them. Honestly, even Cooper Kupp, I don't think none of them want to play for another team. None of them to me give me the vibes of wanting to play for another team. Specifically, Aaron, Matt, and Sean, I don't think any of them want to.
Yeah, I think they might retire some LA Rams.
Yeah, I would put my money on them retiring Rams. That's really what I would do. All right, any final thoughts on Los Angeles Rams and their offseason projection? 5 floor, 8 ceiling. Rams will be spoilers this year. All right, time to head up to Seattle. Pistol Pete and the Seahawks. Geno Smith didn't write back. They did a lot to add around to him. I like what they did. They did a lot to add around with him. I like what they did. A team whose odds have been creeping up more and more to win the division.
hmm This
I
this
think,
is this is my winner of the division right here.
yeah, Seattle. I think they did a lot in the offseason, bringing back Bobby Wagner. I think a lot of people who were so quick to jump on Jamal Adams being trash and not playing coverage to how much he impacted the game last year to forgetting he got hurt. Tariq Woolen, Quandre Diggs, pick up Witherspoon, who I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't my favorite pick of the draft. It
Nah,
really
not
wasn't.
at all.
Um, which is crazy. I feel like if you reversed it, I feel like if you took JS in there and then Witherspoon at the end, I'd be like, oh, this is dope.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, you still got two guys who I felt will be impactful there. There's players who I still have an eye on, like Boy Mafe, Jordan Brooks, Nwosu. Like this team has, like, to me, a lot of potential to really shock the world and kind of maybe even take another leap. Um, I like what I see from them. I like the direction that they ended on last year. Um, I like what I saw them put up against the 49ers in that playoff game. DK was able to kind of get his back. Players like Jay, like, you're telling me a trio of DK, Tyler, and JSN is just ridiculous to me. Their bookend tackles from last
That's
year's draft,
nasty.
or yeah, the bookend tackles from last year's draft and Cross and Lucas. I only expect them to get much better. But man, there's just a lot with this team that could be like, yo, there's a real boom factor to this team. And I don't think it has to do with anything with Geno Smith playing better. I think Geno could just
Yeah.
continue to play at his level, and they surrounded him with such good pieces and players to where he's able to play within his pocket of what he does and not have to turn into no, you know, I mean, even
Yo,
though you have a long season, but like the team could just be better overall in every level of the game.
yo, hear me
And
out.
that's kind of how I
Hear
listen
me
to
out with
Seattle.
this team. This team is set up currently just like the Russell Wilson team was. Russ
Yeah.
did not have to be the best player on the team.
No, he
You
didn't.
had
He didn't.
Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, you had Beast Mode, you had a hell of a defense. I'm looking at this team. Gino ain't even got to be the fifth best player on the team,
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
right?
And
You
I
got
think
DK, Lockett, JSN, Noah Fant. Your O line is nasty. Your defense is looking crazy. You brought back first ballot Hall of Famer Bobby Wagner.
yeah.
Uh, Adams, I think he's going to be able to stay healthy now because he ain't going to have to do everything, right? And
Yeah,
Wosu,
his injury, I think his injury was just kind of just a bad luck thing. Yeah, because they was balling, man. Quandre Diggs was asking for some respect out here in these streets, man.
yep. Tariq
Uh,
Woolen, hell of a
yeah,
breakout last year.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like you said, and I think that's the perfect place to put it. Is a lot of people are trying to, a lot of people don't think Geno can repeat the success that he had last year, and I don't think that's the case. I think Geno is your starter level quarterback who can have a great year. And I think instead of putting more pressure on him, you took it off of him.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, nah, we're just gonna continue to elevate the rest of our roster, and they should be better. K9, Zach Charbonnet, like this could be a very, very deadly clean team to me. Like
Yep.
this could be a very deadly clean team to me
DJ
at the end
Dallas.
of the day.
This
Yeah,
will be the team where they're gonna beat you because they do all the little things correct. You're not gonna see no
yeah,
big, huge plays. You're obviously gonna have that ability with, DK Lockett and JSN. But I think this team is just a matchup nightmare, man. Like, who are you gonna double? Because whoever you double, the other two guys are gonna get open. They can get
yeah,
open. You know that.
yeah,
Noah
yeah,
Fant, one of the better tight ends in the league. I'm not gonna put him up there with the upper echelon of tight ends, but again, these are the guys that do all the little things really,
yep.
really well. You're not gonna find a lot of holes in what they do.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I said I'm with you. I would lean more to picking Seattle to win the division. Also, if I had to put $5 on it right now, I would put it on Seattle to win the division. Shit, I just think overall they made the right moves to make that leap. Uh, let's say leap playoff team last year, just to continue to improve upon what they had.
Yeah,
So I'm definitely there. My only concern, my only concern is the Witherspoon pickup.
yeah,
As just That's going to be my only concern. because I personally wasn't too high on him, and I felt he shouldn't have went there. So that type of stock into that type of player at that point, like you said, I don't think you would. I still, so I think no matter what, at best in his position, he only has to be the fourth best player in that secondary, which is okay because you're behind Woolen, Diggs, and Adams. But I don't want you to be a outright weakling,
Yeah.
like, oh no, they picked the wrong dude. But if he's up on that level, then yeah, this is just absolutely nasty. So like that was just my only concern is like, again, I just wasn't high on Witherspoon to believe he should have went there. But hey, if he is like that, then yeah, this defense is and this team as a whole is just gonna take a jump that a lot of people should be ready to see coming here, man.
I mean, that pick to me almost felt like that was almost an ego pick for me, right? Like if I'm Pete Carroll and I'm sitting in the war room and I'm just like, bro, we swung for the fences with Tariq Woolen. He fell in our lap and we hit a home run. Kobe Bryant sitting back there ready to get some burn. I think I could do it again, right? We normally don't do this, but let's go and take a swing on the corner. You could have easily, went the safe route and took a Jalen Carter there, right?
Um,
Took a bunch of other guys there, but we'll see what happens with Devin Witherspoon, man. Long corner, fast, takes a few risks, and I think you're gonna see a lot of safety help over the top of him.
um,
You're gonna have Quandre Diggs almost rolled over the top of him while Jamal Adams does his thing. But we'll see
he
if he
got
hit.
that.
We'll see if he hit another home run, man.
Yeah, because he got that play where he lit bro up off that corner stuff,
Mm-hmm.
man, which is crazy.
Read it
Um,
quick and just
and
hit it.
quick. Concern is D line pressure, interior, what type they can get there. Nuosu, Terrell, like these guys led them in sacks. So I that's like kind of my weakness and concern. But again, I think the secondary is going to be potentially so good. Like I ain't gonna say Legion of Boom good because that's legendary, but I think the secondary could be the better part of their defense, which gives them time to do what they need to do up front.
Yeah.
So key players, straight up, top to bottom for me, key players. Yeah, Geno Smith. You had a
Mm-hmm.
really good year last year. You definitely came in and killed it. You got your bag, 4,200 yards, 30 TDs, 11 picks. I'm asking myself, is he 30 touchdowns good again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, and there's like a two different type of context to me to this. Are you 30 TD touchdown good in a like winning, improved, efficient effort? Or are you 30 TDs because towards the back end of the year you did start to regress a lot in your performance, and it seemed like a lot of your better games were earlier. So it's very tough for me to say 30 again. Um, but you got all these weapons that 30 should be doable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 30 will be realistic for the fact that it's 17 games in the season. And if I'm doing the math and the math is mathing right, he's going to get 2 touchdowns a game, right? Like, and I don't think it's going to be one of those like you're in the 2 minute drill trying to win a game type touchdowns. It's going to be we're going to get up big early, and then we just going to run the ball,
Yeah, and that's what I'm
and we're
saying
just going
too.
to
Like
control
there's a
control time of possession and all that.
yeah, there's the 30 of like, yo, we didn't need you to have 30, and then there's the 30 of like, oh no, you killed the game and you did it.
Yeah.
Cause I'm just going back and re-looking over the passing leaders last year, and he was fourth with 30, but then the people over him were Allen Burrow and Mahomes.
They went crazy.
Yeah, and they all had 35, 35, 41. And then he had 30. And then under him was Kirk, Jared, both for 29. So again, I think there is two worlds of how he can do 30. I do have an expectation. So like let's see, 25 last year was like still tied for eighth with T Law, Tua, Herbert, and Tom. I think to me he'll be closer to 25 than 30. He said because I also don't think like I'm with you. I don't think he would have to maybe not be it. If he's in those situations where he's having to spam it up, then maybe this team isn't as good as we might think they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know what I'm saying, it's closer games. I'm with you. I think they could be in control of a lot of games. and K9 take a lot of pressure off of him, and we can get to that point too.
Yeah,
So
I think when we get to the schedule, we'll be able to make a little bit more of the determination on are they
yeah,
just going to run it up on a certain amount of teams. Obviously, we know they're going to
yeah,
run into the San Francisco 49ers of the world. They're going to run into
yeah,
some of those tough matchups where we're just going to look at it like, oh no, dog, you might have to play amazing here. And then we're going to look at the matchups like against Arizona, they're going to run it up.
yeah.
Um, against the Rams, they might go run it up. But we'll see.
All right, so I do got Gino as my main key component in this all because I do think he is in a situation that allows him to succeed the best.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, JSN.
Mm-hmm.
JSN, I think he's top tier, elite level dude and what he could be. And I know what Lockett and DK are. And if he is off a rookie year, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson ready, then this is like, yeah, this is very, very bad for what could be for this team.
Man.
So yeah, so JSN, and that's just off a spotlight from what I just like as a player and as a person in him. So I told you I think bro is dope. I just want to see what this the book is. I mean, it's all offensively for me because it said Lucas and Cross, your rookies drafted from last year, who you had your bookend tackles, the improvement that could come from both of them could really set this team up for a lot, man. And I think that run game and just making life easier for Gino, man, because bro be throwing dots. Like he's got some of the craziest passes last year with what he did, man. So it really is all offensively for me, just because I think there is a real boom potential there for what could be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my
Um,
key players for the Seahawks.
I'm gonna go Cross and Lucas. Those two remind me of a very they give me a Lane Milata vibes. I ain't gonna say they right up there, but
Okay.
man, they giving me Lane Milata vibes. Those two are just they complement each other very very well. You can't swap. You can't put a high level DN on either side because it's the weak side.
Yeah.
Both of these dudes just do what they do. But I'm gonna stay on. I'm gonna go on the defensive side. I'm gonna say that D line. Obviously we saw that the leaders in sacks last year was more coming from the linebacker position, but I think we need to see a lot more. We need to see what kind of pressure these guys are gonna get. We know
Yeah.
what the linebacking core is. We know what Bobby Wagner is. We know what Jordan Brooks is. We know what Nwosu was based on last year. But that D line is number one for me. And then the very next person is where I'm gonna cap it out at is Jamal Adams. You're coming back healthy next year. You had a freak injury last year. It's not something that's just gonna happen at any given time for making a wrong move, right? It's just one of those freak injuries. But Jamal Adams next year, I think, is going to be one of the keys. He is one of the leaders of the defense. He doesn't have to be that next year with Bobby Wagner coming back, but I do think he needs to show. He needs to show, basically everybody that he's still him.
Yeah.
He's still like that. He's still the playmaker. He's still going to be in the right place at the right time. He's still going to be up there with the Buda Bakers that we put in the safety conversation, even though safety is one of the most expendable positions based on what we talk about, week in and
Yeah.
week out. But Jamal Adams is going to be that guy for me.
And I'm just keeping an eye on Boy Mafe too. Boy Mafe, that's his name. Pronounce it right. Yeah, I just had eyes on him last year. See how he kind of works his way into here. But all right, let's get to the schedule prediction for the Seattle Seahawks, man. And what do we think about their floor and ceiling for this year?
Starting with
So
the
I told you, I said
Rams.
I told you I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams found a way to steal Week 1. But if I had a pick, I would put my money on Seattle. So you got Week 1, early bye week, 4 games, and you're at the bye.
4-0, 3-1. Early bye week. That's nasty.
I really do think the worst that they should be is 3-1.
Yeah.
I really do think the worst that they should be is 3-1 at the bye week.
Biggest threat is probably. I ain't saying this because you on here. The biggest threat is probably going to be Carolina, just because I think defensively they match up really well. I don't know what that offense
Yeah.
is going to look like, but I think defensively they match up pretty well with that receiving core and that
Yeah, Seattle
that
fans. Seattle
offense.
fans want they get back too because they were supposed to. They all thought they was gonna blow us out last year, and we told
Mm-hmm.
they behind them, and they sick. Like they sick. They want to get back. They want to get back for sure. And I tell they want to get back for that game. J.C. Horn killed it that game. The running game killed it that game. So that I know they won't get back, but I said I would give them the nod there closer to them, because said even though JC killed it, you didn't add a JSN, and we ain't well, we got Von Bell, but we ain't three corners deep that I think that'll be a good matchup for us.
Yeah, it's like 60-40.
Yeah, so I still give them 3-1. I said I would pick them over the Rams. I would pick them over Detroit. I would give them the edge over Carolina. I would give them the edge over New York. But I'm also like, do I think they're 4-0 start perfect though? I don't think so.
Yeah, they'll stumble somewhere.
And mainly because I think Sean Ben Johnson back to back offensively facing that could do a lot to your defense, especially when we know the D line has, what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where the hole is. So, all right. So let's say you're 3-1 after the bye. You come out the bye week, Cincinnati at Cincy. I'm gonna take Cincy.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Got you
take
over here.
Cincy.
Yeah, got you over Arizona at home versus Cleveland. So I'll give you Cleveland at Baltimore. I will give that game to Baltimore. Yeah, I'll give that game to Baltimore. Um, Washington, I'll give that game to Seattle. I actually did give them a split with the Rams, so that they would lose that second one. What you got them looking like against the 49ers? They got back to back Thursday night, Sunday night. That's a 4-game stretch for they behind 5. I don't even like them playing the Rams before going into that. So now you got the Rams, 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles. That is a stretch.
I actually got them beating 49ers the first time, beating Dallas, and then losing the next two. On the road against Frisco, and then at home against Philly.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to say they have an 11 ceiling, a 9 floor.
I almost want to give them 12.
All right, so you can go 12 ceiling, 9 floor.
12-5, and then I mean, if we're saying they're gonna win the division, they got to hit that ceiling. They can't be at the floor.
No. They have to hit the ceiling. They have to hit the ceiling. Now, me and you were both for the mind of we would take Seattle to win the division.
Yeah.
What's the other side of this coin look like?
They'll just be right where they were last year, second in the division, going into the playoffs.
And that's a floor team, though. That's a 9-8 team.
Yeah, they're gonna be limping into the playoffs, right? 9-8 last year. They find a way to go 9-8 this year again. They're a floor team, but I do think they sneak into the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay, so Seattle's a playoff team.
Yeah. Floor and ceiling.
Floor and ceiling, Seattle's a playoff team.
Yeah.
At this moment, is Seattle contenders?
Yes.
Who's more of a contender? Because this is kind of a problem to me. Detroit or Seattle?
Seattle.
Seattle or Minnesota?
Seattle.
I got Minnesota over Seattle.
Yeah.
Flores, man, I just think people are really sleeped on Flores becoming a DC over there. So, and that's kind of I think Minnesota's highly underrated with that move. But
I don't think it's a clear Seattle over Minnesota. I just keep looking back at that offense.
Minnesota or Detroit?
I'm gonna go Minnesota.
So you got Frisco, Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the first team out?
Out of the playoffs?
First team. So Frisco and Philly, those are our two contenders for the NFC, right? And this is a little early divisional talk, but I said earlier, I think there's only 2 teams in the NFC who right now should have the label of contenders, and that's Philly and that's Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the only 2 who right now you could say are contenders.
Mm-hmm.
And let me define contenders. Your floor should be the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it like that. You could probably get a bad divisional matchup, but like I expect you to at least make it to the divisional round. So who's the first team outside of Philly and Frisco? Is it Seattle?
I think it's Seattle.
Dallas?
No, I think Dallas comes after Minnesota.
So just to kind of gauge where we are with Seattle. Philly, Frisco, Seattle,
Seattle, Minnesota,
3,
Dallas.
Minnesota, Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
Detroit. Who's 6? Who's 6?
I would say Detroit. I'm okay with Detroit. I mean, we still don't have an NFC South winner in that conversation, which they're going to be
Yeah,
there.
NFC South is going to get a 4 seed. But even for me, if it was Carolina, I still wouldn't call them right now in this moment, or whoever comes after NFC South. You are going to get your playoff game at home, but I still wouldn't make you a top 4 or 5 team in the NFC.
Yeah.
So you're just not that. So like you will be the team who they will say at week 12, where you want to play whoever the NFC South winner is, unless some crazy crap happens, which I just really don't care for at this moment.
I also think Frisco is going to be an early out in the
So
playoffs.
and we'll talk about, because it ties right into Frisco who's next. It really does tie right into Frisco who's next. So we both can sit here and agree and say Philly and Frisco are in a class of their own as contenders of the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
We both sit here and agree and we say, let's just put it blank. Seattle should be a 10-win team.
Mm-hmm.
And anything less than a 10-win team should be seen as a disappointment. You think they're closer to their floor or their ceiling? Their floor is 9, their ceiling's 12. You think they're closer to?
I think they're closer to their ceiling. Just because, I mean, if I look at everything they have, personnel-wise, top to bottom, there's only 1 or 2 pieces that differ from this year, from last year, right?
Yeah.
You got Witherspoon, Wagner,
they
you're
improved
adding
in every area.
Yeah, and then JSN.
I feel like they improved in every area that they could have.
Mm-hmm.
Even like adding JSN was just sprinkles. Like just sprinkles.
That's a cherry on top, bro. You didn't need it, but you got it.
That's a cherry. That's BPA. That's sprinkles, bro. And again, that's also me talking from my view of JSN. But I'm also told you I'm talking from my view of Devin Weatherspoon. I think there was a couple other guys who I would have took before him. But same players, and I hate when people say it, so I don't want to say it myself. But if you would have took JSN at 6 and Weatherspoon at 20, I'd be like, yo, they stole the draft.
It'd be a different conversation. Yeah,
it'd be a different conversation. But you got 2 guys who, at the end of the day, to me, are good players to potentially great players. I really do feel like you upgraded in every area, minus the front of the line of scrimmage on defense.
Yeah, minus the spot where you really needed the help. You didn't need the help at corner.
Like B-Wags and Brooks, Adams constantly make your 3-4 yard tackles, but like, bro, 4-yard gains on runs every play throughout the course of the year is gonna hurt.
You could have easily taken a Jalen Carter. You could have easily taken one of those guys there. You could have even, like you said, taken JSN early and then Nolan Smith late.
Nolan late. So I'm telling you, I think there's better or different combos to me that would have made me really horny for the Seahawks. Like, damn, this is it. But again, I said last year they killed it so much that I almost don't want to penalize them for that. I told you, I think Geno's a good quarterback. I don't think he I would not call him in this moment top 10.
No.
Like
outside. He's knocking on the door.
Like you said, but the rest of the team to me is so good that it just allows him to stay exactly where he was.
Yeah.
To where if he did 30 or didn't do 30, I would be like, okay, cool. Like I understand it. So
one thing I think about is the reason Devin Witherspoon got picked so early is I blame Sauce Gardner. Not specifically Sauce. Not specifically Sauce, but all the hype around that.
But like you're right, Seattle was in such a position with home money that it was almost like, yo, if you take the swing on the guy who you think could be the best, and there is traits of this guy being like, yo, damn, he could really be that type of level dude. So like when you're playing, I feel like they played on house money and they really took a swing on 2 guys who they really thought could be the best in their class at their position. So like I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I get it. My evaluation of Witherspoon isn't that he's bad. Just thought there was other guys who I like more than him.
Wasn't Christian Gonzalez sitting there too?
Yeah. I like Joey Porter Jr. better.
Yeah, dog.
I like Gonzalez better.
I think you could have taken Witherspoon. To me was like the 3rd or 4th corner in my ranks in the draft.
But if you took that swing, and if you think that he's that dude at the end, you know, say you was playing on house money because, like I said before, you still only asking Weatherspoon in this current moment to just be the fourth best player in your secondary.
Mm-hmm. And you still
Quandre
got
Diggs,
Kobe Bryant sitting
yeah,
there too, who
still got Kobe Bryant.
played pretty decent
Adams,
last year.
Adams, Diggs, and Williams is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So you okay, bro? Like you're right in that spot to just play your lane and be a beast, bro.
He's
So
almost the
like
Brandon Browner of that
that's
LOB.
like you said, that's what it is. That's what it feels like. It's Pete reshaping this to what it could be. And I see it. Like you made the statement in the beginning. Gino doesn't have to be the best dude on offense. This D line, even though that D line had some killers on that D line,
Man,
I
Michael
don't see
Bennett.
that. I don't see that D line or any shades of where that could be on this D line.
Not at all.
So, and this isn't prime Bobby, even though Bobby's still dope and Jordan Brooks is dope, Nwosu's dope. Like it's almost too much. Like we talked about in the opposite view with the Bears, it's almost too much pressure on your linebacking core to constantly clean up your mistakes up front.
Yep.
And that's when problems can happen.
You're gonna watch
So,
you gonna watch a D line get doubled with O lineman making it to the second level, and at that point,
yeah, at that point it's just a wrap.
you got an
know
old Bobby just getting caught in the wash.
Yeah, you're just getting caught. And it's not something that I know they're probably not aware of and that could get better, but that's just kind of my only concern with them. I do think I would pick them to win the division. This team should be a 10-win team, a playoff lock. And from there, I would like I don't know how much. Again, it would have to take the course of the year for me to see where I would pick you. But I still think I'm not gonna lie. Like you said, we didn't pick an NFC player there. I still think Seattle, even if they don't win the division, they should be the 5 seed, which should get the matchup with the 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take Seattle in a matchup against anybody in the NFC South at this moment.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see Seattle, Frisco again.
Yeah. So that's just kind of at where I'm at with them, man.
Seattle's gonna be that annoying team that gets up 2 touchdowns and then has the ball all third quarter, running the ball, getting every first down, and then you just like, bro, what are we watching?
Yeah, you're right. So, all right, we both think Seattle should, we will pick them to win the division. It should be a 10-win team. And if they're not, then there's probably going to be some problems going on, man.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, let's wrap up the Seattle. Any final thoughts on the Seattle Seahawks?
Nope.
All right, time to make our move on to the conference championship losers, San Francisco 49ers.
I like how you put
what
that.
they got. Yeah, because Kyle Shanahan, man, damn near Mega Mind the second. I don't know how he continues to keep getting away with this with quarterback play. I don't know how he continues to keep getting away with this, but Kyle is a beast. He is a monster. Kyle Shanahan is a top. Hell, I say give him a top 3 head coach in the NFL at this current moment.
Yeah.
Dude is a beast. His defense is absolutely amazing. This offense, this roster, John Lynch and what them boys do. You talk about making a quarterback's job easy. That is what they do out here, man. One of the best fullbacks, one of the best of the best tight ends, one of the best of the best running backs, one of the best of the best wide receiver groups. Like you said, you can see why this team in Philly is talked about the way that they are because the roster construction is so deep and so dope.
Top to bottom.
Yeah, top to bottom. It's so deep and elite. And the coaching, you're just like, yo, you can understand why this team is esteemed the way it is. And I always say it, and it's just my natural opinion. At some point, the elite years have to end.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point, there's got to be the year that starts the trend of not being elite. 2 years ago, that happened, but that was due to injury. That was just injury. A bunch of y'all players got hurt. Y'all got right. Y'all added CMC. And y'all have been pretty salty to explain how y'all lost that conference championship game. Really have, bro. Really have. A lot of people I feel are extremely, extremely sleep on the potential of what Brandon Ayuk is. Not what he can be. What the dude is.
That's the number 1 receiver. It ain't Debo.
Brandon, 78, 1,000 ATDs. Brandon Ayuk is a monster amongst monsters hidden in this. Like, I just feel like people don't appreciate him that much, like he really should be.
Yeah. I think people get so horny for Debo and what he's able to do. Yeah. You got Kittle, you got you still got CMC over there, and it's just like,
Like
oh,
Ayuk is a
Ayuk still play
there's
for this team.
yeah, Ayuk is a wide receiver one on many other teams in this
Mm-hmm.
NFL in this
Mm-hmm.
league, bro. Pickups: Drake Jackson, Hargrave, Armstead, Nick Bosa, Greenlaw, Fred Warner. Like you just walk down the defense, and you're like, God dang, you find like
Bro,
now the secondary.
their second team D line is a starting D line on the
Yeah,
Seahawks. Bro, like you sit
Kinlaw,
Javon
Farrell.
Hargrave and bring Kinlaw. You sit
Yeah,
Eric Armstead and you bring Givens and Cleveland Farrell. Like what?
yeah, yeah. I am. I will put my concerns on the secondary. I do not outside of like I do think
Outside
this
of Hufanga.
secondary gets. Yeah, I do think this secondary gets the benefit of a lot of what's done up front.
Yeah, yeah.
I really do. I think they, which is cool. I think they get a benefit of a lot what they do up front. I've never been a Travarius Ward dude. A lot of people are more. I was a Hugh Fanga dude. I knew he was going to be a beast. You see the playmaker he is, cool. But then beyond that, you get to eat off what happens in the front, cool. I am. This is two defensive coordinators in a row from the 49ers that have left for head coaching jobs. Steve Wilkes is now your defensive coordinator. So we're gonna see what Steve does. Steve had them boys doing much better, obviously, because he's just a better coach than what was had in Carolina. But this is a whole nother beast, Steve. So we'll get to see what you get to do with this buffet of players that you have over here, man.
Buffet of players.
Yeah, Buffett, like you, bro, you going from Carolina to 49ers, bro. And just being real, Fred Warner clears, Shaq Thompson, Nick Bosa clears, Brian Burns, Kifanga clears, Jeremy Chin. And at the current moment, I can't really put too much stock into JC Horn to the other cornerbacks because he just stays hurt. But you're just completely going to an absolute upgraded defense on that end, man. And you should be in line to maybe be the third DC on his way out, which can only speak to how dope Kyle Shanahan is as a head coach to continue this level of excellence and dubs while constantly losing coordinators to head coaching jobs, man. Bro was a beast. Bro was a beast. So, what are your thoughts on 49ers, man, and their offseason moves for Shrews?
I love it. I love it. Biggest thing for them is they got healthy. They added a whole lot of depth. Javon Hargrave, to kind of solidify that middle of that D line. I think people are sleeping on them losing Al-Shaair at linebacker.
Don't care.
But I mean, when you got a Fred Warner and a Dre Greenlaw, bro, like you could put me at linebacker and you'll be straight.
Yes, I'm saying. You're
Like
sorry, you're
it's
expendable.
but I mean, like you said, them not being able to solidify that secondary, they're gonna benefit from a lot of what happens in the front seven. People are still sleeping on Nick Bosa, man. This man could have easily been the defensive player of the year. Easily.
Yeah.
He might be coming back this year, with a little bit of a fury. The guy plays hard anyways. I think we're gonna see Sam Darnold this year.
That's what a lot of people say.
And I think we're gonna see a Sam Darnold where you're gonna have a lot of casual fans looking and saying, where was this in Carolina? You know who your coach was for the first half of the year? You ain't got a damn Shanahan over there. But I think we're gonna see a decent Sam Bradford. But they're gonna lean heavily into the Brock Purdy, Trey Lance train and kind of figure out what they got going. Especially with Trey Lance. He's coming up on his contract year here soon.
Yeah, for his option to give. So I think that's where my stance with the 49ers is where I'm at, and I'm pretty strong on it. I don't think Brock Purdy's that guy. I honestly don't think he was no better than Jimmy G to me. I just think he was just a little more exciting version of what they were used to seeing. And I think he was just a breath of fresh air amongst the turmoil that was going on between when is Trey going to be ready? What are we doing with Jimmy G? Sam is so locked into who he is as a quarterback. There is no improvement for that man. To me in Frisco, he could play, but he's still gonna make his dumb decisions. That's just in that man's nature. I think the mistake for the 49ers will be not to play Trey from day one and you already know in the sample size what you have from Brock.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you have in the sample size, what you have from Trey. And I
At
think
all.
I think you would do yourself a disservice not to see it through and not to see exactly what this guy has. Because I think having Brock there is a safety net, but Kittle and all these guys have went so far out their way to make sure to endorse Brock. You almost don't want to go against your players who have been killing it for you. So I which is crazy to say that the 49ers was able to waste a pick and stuff and take Trey Lance and just kind of still be a contender about it.
Yeah.
On any other team who would trade up to get a quarterback and not have him playing and other people playing, that team would be a bottom of the league team. So this is just like riches that they were able to play with. It still be in this position to where you make conference championship games and you're looking to make another one. So I'm not if I'm them, I'm playing Trey. I'm starting Trey. Show like we talked about with Kyler. I'm showcasing him to myself and to the world and to our fans, and giving him the opportunity to essentially lose it. But I said I think your team has been so supportive of Brock. You got to play him, and I just don't think I think Brock Purdy will be the reason if they decide to go that way that this team will lose.
Yeah. I think they got so excited with Brock Purdy as far as like, damn, this is everything that Trey Lance should have been.
Yeah,
But it's like, come on, man. Y'all don't know what y'all got with Trey Lance yet.
yeah,
Give that man the reins. Let Brock Purdy be who Brock Purdy is. Because when that contract and that option year comes up for Trey Lance, either you're going to justify letting him go and be great on another team, or you're going to justify re-signing him, especially when Brock Purdy's still on that rookie deal. He's going into year 2.
yep.
Play Trey.
Yeah, man. I really I really think they'll be, and this is so it was said, I guess Kyle wanted Mac Jones,
Damn.
but yeah, but John wanted Trey because of the traits. One of them was off, but then they end up taking Trey. Somebody, I guess, trumped the decision and took Trey. Now, granted, remember I told y'all in that moment, the Jets were gonna take Zach because Kyle and Robert Saleh were standing next to each other during Zach's pro day. And pretty much I felt like bro was like, "Are you gonna take Zach?" "Yeah, I'm gonna take Zach." "Okay, cool. We gonna come up and we gonna pick our guy since we know Trevor's off the board." This team to me looks a lot different with a Mac Jones, with a Justin Fields playing quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Like this team, yeah, I feel like that could truly be where the window was messed up for them. I don't want to say window messed up because they're still making conference championship games. Again, I think at the end of the day they are going to come back and realize Brock Purdy is not that quarterback, and Trey Lance probably isn't either. But you have a better shot at seeing with Trey than you do with Brock.
Yeah. 49ers,
I
y'all probably going to hate
I
that
would just
take, but it is what
no
it
no no
is.
no. It's not because it's not. They're not going to hate that take because if Brock would have been cool to play in the Eagles game, he would have been shown that he's really still not that good of a quarterback. When they played Seattle on a whatever game it was. And Brock to me was not doing good. And it wasn't until Quandre Diggs dropped a pick in his hands that he then got like the next playoff where Kittle had end up getting like a touchdown the next play. And that they were struggling that game. And they felt like I felt like he got away with a lot. He killed it against Tampa. I'm not going home. He killed it against Tampa. He did his thing there, but I just don't feel like the rest of it is at the end of the day, I don't feel like he gives me nothing no different than what I already had in Jimmy G. And then he still got hurt at the end of the day. It was just like,
It was
damn,
that
like you asked for
week
availability.
15, week 15 matchup where they won 21-13. And I mean, if
Yeah.
you
But
if you look at Brock Purdy's games, bro, like his first game against Miami, threw for 210, 185, 217, 234, 284. You said it. He's doing everything Garoppolo was doing. He's just making it look sexy.
yeah. Because every now and then he'll roll out or something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how I felt.
Cool.
I really don't feel like he's no different, which ain't a bad thing to say when you play for the 49ers. But I think this is the only team in the NFL that would contemplate making him the starting quarterback. I don't think Brock Purdy on 28 other NFL teams will be looked at as the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Just don't think if he was in Arizona, Colt McCoy would still start over. Yeah, like I'm just being real with y'all. I just don't think Brock Purdy is this lifted up guy that people are aiming out to make him. I think he is exactly what the 49ers offense allows him to be. And so that's that's I so just to repeat it because it's really gonna sound like being a hater. 49er fans, I'm just telling y'all straight up, I don't think Brock Purdy's the guy, and I think at the end of the day, you're gonna come back and you're gonna realize part of the reason why your team constantly hits this wall is because they just missed at the quarterback position. That's it.
Your
But I
coach can
think the
only
rest
do so much.
yeah, your coach can only do so much, but I think the rest of your roster is elite and you are contenders. And you will, at minimum, should make the divisional round championship, the divisional round, no injuries, a healthy team, you should make the divisional round. But I think you're going to get there. And fortunate for the 49ers in the NFC, you're probably going to run into a Seattle, a Dallas, a Minnesota, or if whoever out the NFC South sneaks into the divisional
A
round and
Carolina.
you play them, yeah, and you play them, I still think your roster and your coaching is good enough. You would still deserve every advantage in that game to where you really should be back in the conference championship game. But then I just don't see where this guy in that moment in the conference championship game or whoever they're gonna see in the Super Bowl, he's just gonna be the reason y'all fall short.
Yeah,
And I
conference
think,
championship, especially Super
yeah,
Bowl with the AFC the way they look,
yes, I just
you're gonna face
I
some
yeah, so
dogs.
again, I just think you're just at another situation with a great coach, great roster, great everything, and an average quarterback. I'm not
Cool.
saying he's trash. I'm just saying he's average. I'm just
We're
saying
just
he's
saying
average.
that if he played against the Eagles last year, he probably would have threw 3 picks and got
Yeah,
sacked
he
four
would have looked
times.
he would have looked bad. Like he just would have looked bad. Like he wouldn't have looked good. The Eagles would have tore that crap up. Like they really would have.
All right,
So
let's
they
get their schedule.
key players. Key
Oh, key
players.
players. You're right. You're right.
With them, because everybody's so elite, I don't want to say key players. But I do want to just spotlight some names that I like on here. Cameron Latu, Ronnie Bell, Daz Newsome, some guys that's kind of just hanging out there, in the back end of the 49ers roster. But yeah, key players, man. Be for real, Brandon Ayuk, because I really do think bro is a beast. To be honest with you, I understand traits and skill may look different, but there should be no reason to me why he isn't. I feel like when anybody talks about wide receiver duos, they should also be naming the 49ers. Like I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
Like I really do. Drake Jackson. Drake Jackson is my other guy. And Trevarius Ward, because I think the last time I honestly saw you for real, in my mind, DK was giving good work. Even though he got DK the first time, even though he clamped DK up the first time, though, I give him that. Just saying. I'm not too high on bro anyway. I do think he's good. I just don't understand why people feel like to me he moved the needle. But you know what I'm saying? That's just kind of that's kind of people I'll be looking at.
Cool.
So
Ready for the schedule?
yep. Let's get a floor in the ceiling for Frisco 49ers. Week 1, Pittsburgh. I give them at Pittsburgh. Oh yeah, I said that's a sneaky game because
Yeah,
Tomlin can have something to
I
trigger
think
for
this is
him.
the one that we got Tomlin winning.
Yeah, I gave him a sneaky game. At Pittsburgh, I gave him that sneaky game. I did give that to Pittsburgh, but yeah, I might have to pull back on that. Because after we got done talking about the AFC North, I said, somebody's got to plant their flag, and I think I'm ready to do it on Pittsburgh. I said I'd rather Kyle get away with it again than Mike this year. So I'm gonna give him a dub week 1, dub week 2, dub week 3, dub week 4. So they should go start 4-0.
5. That's a dub in week 5.
This team should be 6-2 at the bye week.
Losing to Cincinnati, Minnesota.
And again, I almost feel like Dallas might have it out for them too.
Maybe Brian Flores got something ready for them, and he's gonna be coming ready.
Yeah. So yeah,
6 and
I
2.
would say 6-2 would be the floor at the bye week. And this is crazy to call Brock Purdy absolutely average, and your team still starts off the year 6-2.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. You come out the bye week at Jacksonville. Ooh, Jacksonville defense, but
6
boy,
and
that offense
3.
6-3. Nah, I'm actually gonna give him the dub. No, That's out the bye week. Tampa dub, Seattle at
7,
Seattle. We
8,
gave them a split, right? I gave Seattle a split. At
9,
Philly,
10,
whoo, I'm giving Philly that one.
11,
Um,
12. 12
versus
wins.
Baltimore at home Monday night on Christmas.
I got them losing that game.
That's a good game too.
That's a Lamar. This is the Lamar MVP year.
I'll give it to Baltimore, and then you finish out the rest of the year winning. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 win, ceiling, 10 floor.
Pretty much the same as the Seahawks.
Same as Seahawks. So what's the separator?
Divisional games, maybe. Or just where
6-2 was the floor at the bye week.
I think the separator for me is going to end up being Brock Purdy. Cause I just have this feeling that they're gonna drop a couple games because of Brock Purdy. Right? That defense is what it is. We know what the defense is. Secondary, you got them splitted with Seattle. I actually got Seattle sweeping. But I think Brock Purdy finds a way to drop some games.
So on the low end, let's say Pittsburgh steals week 1.
Mhm.
Let's say Cleveland,
LA,
Minnesota City,
the
Dallas,
Rams find a way
LA.
to
Yeah,
continue to be a spoiler and
yeah.
split with them.
Let's say McVay does a spoiler thing. At Jacksonville is more of a toss-up than I gave it, even though I gave the 49ers the dub. There's a chance for Jacksonville to run it up. You're playing 8 wide. All the receivers they got, it ain't nobody pass rush. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. So 10 floor, 12 ceiling, but I do expect this team to win. If they don't win the division or have the number 1 seed, I expect them to be a divisional round team at minimum.
Cool.
That's what I do expect. So yeah, I think 10 floor, 12 ceiling, I would say probably, yeah. I don't think they could do 13 again. But they could, but I would give 12. I think I'll put my money right on 12.
Cool. I'm with it.
All right, final thoughts on the 49ers.
None really. If we do see a full season of Brock Purdy, I think there's gonna be a whole lot of things coming to light.
Gotcha. It's crazy, man. All right, as we get ready to wrap up our NFC West talks, your division winner is Seattle.
Yeah.
I think I might have some nuts, and I'm going to say Seattle too. I'm going to go with Seattle. I'm going to follow my heart, and I'm going to pick Seattle to win the NFC West.
Mook and Sefa, y'all got a winner.
Since we have Arizona a top 5 pick, how much really is the Rams a dark horse in this division?
I don't even want to call them. I think you said it best, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like spoiler is probably the at best, the best that they're gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah, because Cardinals, if we locking in the Cardinals were a top 10 pick, top 5 pick, they can't be dark horses, but so it just leaves the Rams because we have both of these teams honestly with the same floor and ceiling. 10 to 12 wins.
Yeah, and I mean you said it, man. They're gonna be spoilers. That's and I think if for some reason San Francisco doesn't hit that 12 wins, it might gonna be because Sean McVay.
Yeah. I think they ain't gonna go out like no punk bees, but they'll get it right. All right. Rank the NFC West quarterbacks.
Gino. Oh no, not Gino.
I still got Stafford.
Stafford, yeah, Stafford, Gino. I mean, are we putting Kyler in there even though he ain't playing till 8?
Let's just do the hypothetical and give Kyler and let Kyler be in there.
If that's the case, then it's Stafford, Geno, Kyler. Nah, Stafford, Kyler, Geno, and then Purdy.
See, that's my same list. Rank the NFC West head coaches. The funnest one. This division is cold when it comes to coaches.
Damn,
Rank the
Shanahan.
NFC West.
Shanahan is one.
Okay, Gannon's last, obviously.
Yeah.
So my bad. All right, so Gannon's last. So Gannon's last. I would do Shanahan, McVay, Pete.
Yeah, and it's a very slim margin from McVay to Pete. Maybe not so much from Shanahan to McVay, but
because when you think about it, when we go to the next time we'll be talking about the NFC will be as a conference as a whole. Say that 3 times. And it's gonna be fun when we rank the head coaches and everything. All right, so Gannon's last. Yeah, I will go Kyle McVay and Pistol Pete. Oh man. So the Cardinals got Hollywood Brown. The Rams got Cooper Kupp. And then you got, after Cooper Kupp, you got 5 receivers in the next 2 teams between Ayuk, Debo, DK, Tyler, and JSN. So can we rank the NFC West wide receivers?
Damn. I think Cooper's still clear number 1. Yeah, Cooper's still clear number 1. DK's number 2.
I go Cooper, DK, Debo, Brandon
over
Tyler.
Lockett?
Yes, yeah, I'm taking Brandon over Lockett.
I ain't mad at that. Honestly, it might be JSN next. Even though I ain't seen him do anything in the NFL field, he might gonna be next.
All right. Rank the NFC West defenses.
49ers, hands down. 49ers 1, Seattle 2.
Cardinals
Rams
3.
Cardinals 3? Ooh, damn. Is it because the Rams are
just Aaron. Yeah, right, like at this current moment to me it's just Aaron, and I just don't. I'm gonna give. I don't want the Cardinals to be at the bottom of everything. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of light of hope here because I think there is potential.
And it's not because y'all are good; it's because the Rams are so bad.
Yeah. It's just Aaron, bro, and I just don't know what to think of the rest of them dudes. So I don't know. Like I said, they bother me.
It's Aaron and the other guys.
Yeah, really, what it is. I said, bro's gonna get triple double team, and it's just gonna be a free guy around, and it's like, bro, you should make a play. All right. This is how can I put this? Because for us, Cardinals is a top 5 team. Rams is going to be playing spoilers. 49ers and Seahawks are both divisional round teams. You think they both are, or you think you said Frisco's are early out?
I think so. I mean, they're going to win their first round matchup, right? They're going to win their first round matchup. The Eagles are going to have the bye. They're going to run into they're going to end up running into Seattle again.
And in that playoff matchup, as of right now, you would take Seattle over Frisco.
Uh-huh.
Whew. That's going to be a tough one.
Unless for some reason Sam Bradford in there playing, then they're going to get blown out.
All right, so then let's play the I guess we get to play the push our agenda coin here. If Frisco falls short like we say they're going to fall short, what's the move after it all ends?
I think they're going to make some trades. They're going to make some trades during the draft to either get them a quarterback in the draft, or they're going to go and find them a quarterback that just needs an out from somewhere.
Kyler Murray be a 49er.
I was just thinking that. The only thing that would hold that back is the fact that Kyler Murray's in the division quarterback. There's going to take a lot of balls. The other one, though, is Justin Fields. Do the 49ers have the capital to get a Justin Fields? I think they do.
What quarterback could like technically be on the market? What quarterback could be on the market?
Let's look.
I don't think.
Hey, Mac Jones might be a realistic opportunity for them, man.
Mac could be a Mac. Mac could be an option.
Mac Jones. The other one I think I'm looking at, and these fans are gonna hate me for saying this, but it's Dak Prescott.
No, I think 49ers have beat up on Dakota so much that they wouldn't want him.
It don't matter what they want, because if John Lynch gonna look at it and be like, look, Brock, Sam, and Trey, y'all ain't it. I gotta find me one.
Oh man. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy.
Because I think that with their personnel right now, you can't go get one out of the draft. You don't have that.
There's guys who I think next year who have redemption stories written over them who could make their way to kind of being sneaky quarterback pickups.
I think Carson Wentz will be a hell of a quarterback with the 49ers.
But I'm also like, there's a lot of teams who could be pushing for some of those guys next year too. So
could we see Andrew Luck come out of retirement?
But Andrew Luck, that man is done. That man is done. All right, y'all. Any final thoughts on the NFC West as we get ready to wrap this up?
Nope.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us as we get done with the NFC West. The next time you see us, we will be talking about the AFC West and wrapping up our divisional talks as we get ready to go into player rankings and conference talk and all of that. During the football season, we will be live every Tuesday, recapping the week, giving previews for the week, y'all. If you stayed this long, thank you for rocking with us. Drop us your comments. As long as you're not talking about nobody's mama, your comments are welcome. Like, if you want to rock with a sub, we're really close to 300 right now. We appreciate y'all who decide to come spend time with us. We just here kicking it, man, just trying to have a good time, talk about sports before we have to go back and handle responsibilities. So, I'm Vita Van Pelt as Soy Sauce Shaw. Thank y'all for rocking with us. That's the NFC West. That's a wrap. The next time you see us, we'll be on the AFC West. Good day, y'all.